Zhang Jike, the definition of a big game player. When it mattered the most, and he had to step up, he sure did. This is the story of the man who in an extremely short period of time won everything, and the hype was massive. The first time he introduced himself to the table tennis world was at the Asian Championships in 2009. This tournament reflected the generational change that was starting to take place in Chinese table tennis. Olympic champion Ma Lin and three-time world champion Wang Liqin both finished third. The new Chinese rivals were Ma Long and Zhang Jike. Both were born in 1988. This time, Ma Long won it. What Zhang Jike didn't know was that he would have many opportunities for revenge in the future. By winning the Asian Cup, he qualified for the 2010 World Cup. This was his first chance to represent his country in a tournament of this kind of magnitude. When you are among the best in China, you can't lose to a non-Chinese player. Today, it happens from time to time, but in 2010, this was not acceptable to the Chinese Table Tennis Association. So Zhang Jike, only 22 years old at the time, had a lot of pressure on him to deliver. However, as mentioned before, Zhang Jike would be remembered as a big game player. He lived for these high-pressure matches. We jumped directly into the semi-final, where he was facing Japan star Jun Mizutani. The match couldn't have started any worse. He was 3-0 down in sets. This became the first time Zhang Jike showed us all that he wasn't just another product of the Chinese system. He had something extra. Deeply imprinted in his brain, he knew he was a winner. And that is what over time separates the good from the greats. He went on to win 4 games in a row, and with that, the match. In the final, Wang Hao was too strong, but Zhang Jike had shown the world that he was here to stay. He was something new, something fresh, a backhand that other players could only dream of, and a mental toughness you can't teach. This performance gave him his first chance to play the singles event at the World Championships 2011 in Rotterdam. The young star entered the tournament as the 3rd seed. You couldn't see that it was his first time. In the first 4 matches, he only dropped 2 games. Now he was in the quarterfinals, where the real challenge began. He was playing his compatriot Wang Liqin, who was a lot more experienced in this type of matches. However, Zhang Jike showed no fear. He played his game and won the match 4-2. In the semi-final, world number 2 Timo Boll was waiting. Prime Timo won the first set, but after that, it was Zhang Jike's show. It was pure dominance. 4-1 victory, and the 23-year-old was now going to play the biggest match of his life, the World Championships final. An opportunity not many players get, and very rarely more than once. Standing in his way was the reigning champion Wang Hao. Zhang Jike started strong and took the first 2 sets, but Wang Hao would come back. The match was tied 2-2, and then Zhang Jike stepped up when it mattered the most. 11-5, 1 game away from cementing his name in the history books. 10-5 lead, 5 match points. For the first time, we saw the nerves take over. Wang Hao crawled back and had 1 game point, but Zhang Jike didn't panic. He stayed calm. And then, on his 7th match point, he could secure the title. Just look at the relief. Sports can't get much more mentally stressful than this. He followed this up with winning the World Cup in Paris just months later, once again against Wang Hao in the final. We fast forward to the London Olympics the next year. He entered the tournament as the 1st seed. The gold was his to take, but it doesn't mean it's easy. Already in the round of 16, he was put against the wall. He was playing legend Vladimir Samsonov, who is far from an easy match. He was struggling and was down 3-2 in sets, but once again, when it mattered the most, he stepped up. 11-7, 11-7. This was a big relief and a confidence booster for him, because after this, he was unstoppable. 4-1 victory against Zhang Tianyi in the quarterfinal. 4-1 against Dmitry Ovcharov in the semifinal. In the final against Wang Hao, it seemed like Wang Hao was more afraid of losing a 3rd Olympics final in a row than Zhang Jike was playing the biggest match of his life. 4-1 victory for Zhang Jike. 24 years old, 3 years of play on the world tour, and he had already won everything. In just 445 days, he had won the World Championship, the World Cup, and the Olympics. In table tennis, that's called a Grand Slam, something only 5 players have ever done, and Zhang Jike did it way faster than all of them. 1 year later, when he won the World Championships in Paris, it felt almost boring. No celebration. He, like everyone else, was just expecting it. Zhang Jike was just on a different level. No one could match him. The only thing that could stop him from keep winning title after title was other factors. He had some problems with minor injuries in the past, but now it has started getting more problematic. He missed the World Cup later this year due to injury. We fast forward to the next year's World Cup in 2014. Zhang Jike was under massive pressure. His performances had been up and down lately. People were starting to doubt if he still had the focus and drive. And when you play for China, the competition is quite strong. Ma Long, Fan Zhendong, Fang Bo, and Xu Xin were just a few of the Chinese top players who were knocking on the door and wanted his place in the spotlight. This World Cup of 2014 was not an easy cruise for Zhang Jike. Already in the quarterfinal, he had some problems against Quadri Aruna, but managed to secure the victory 4-2. In the semi-final, he faced Timo Boll. This was a match that went down in history. A very well-played match from both sides. After winning the deciding game on an edge ball, Zhang Jike almost seemed anxious. He may not have been happy with his performance. He wasn't as dominant as he once was, and he knew that it would take a lot more to beat Ma Long in the final. This final was something special. Ma Long was the new name on everyone's lips. Ma Long had been in Zhang Jike's shadow since their breakthrough in 2009. It didn't necessarily mean that the level difference was that huge. Going into this tournament, Ma Long had won 6 of their 9 encounters. Ma Long was seen as the favorite in this match, and was now expected to take over the crown from Zhang Jike, whose form had started to decline slightly. The match definitely lived up to its expectations. It was dramatic, and the momentum shifted back and forth. Ma Long won the 5th game 11-2 and went 3-2 up. But you should have already noticed the pattern in Zhang Jike's career. When he is pressured the most, he steps up. He won the next game 11-5, and in the decider, he did this at 10-all. And then he took it on his 3rd match point. Winning the World Cup silenced all doubts and restored his reputation as a clutch, big-game player. After his wild celebration, he was fined all $45,000 of his prize money. The ITTF described Zhang Jike's barrier-kicking celebration as a spur-of-the-moment reaction, but still decided to withhold his prize money. "I am very sorry for what I did," Zhang Jike said in a statement to the ITTF. "It was unacceptable behavior, and I sincerely apologize." Reflecting on the match, he added, "This was a perfect victory. I had been under a great deal of pressure with many people questioning my form. Now I feel satisfied and relieved. I would also like to congratulate Ma Long on an incredible final. Fans loved it though. It made him even more of a legend. Like a warrior who wasn't just a technical machine, but someone who played with insane passion." Zhang Jike was still relatively young, only 26 years old. However, he had been a part of the national team for over 8 years now, and the injuries started to catch up. He had been injured in the past and focused a lot on being healthy and not overtrained, but unfortunately there are things we cannot always control. After this World Cup, we never got to see this version of Zhang Jike again. Although it's worth mentioning, he won a silver medal at the 2016 Olympics. In the final, he lost in big numbers against Ma Long. You could say that it was there in Rio that he passed the torch to Ma Long. He said after the tournament that he was ready to retire. However, he never officially announced his retirement. He tried to come back several times, but injuries and poor form kept getting worse. In 2017, he was out for 5 months, returned, and then lost 1-4 to Thiago Apollonia. Soon after, he was injured again and missed another 6 months. That was the highlight of his 2017 season. The last glimpse of the old Zhang Jike came at the 2018 Japan Open. After another long injury break, he returned and beat Liang Jingkun 15-13 in a thrilling deciding game in the 2nd round. In the quarterfinals, he struggled against Jin Weda, falling behind 1-3 but managed to make a comeback. He reached the final after winning the semi-final by walkover. In the final, he faced 14-year-old rising star Tomokazu Harimoto, who had already shocked everyone by beating Ma Long earlier in the tournament. Despite Zhang Jike's experience, Harimoto won 4-3. This was the last time we saw Zhang Jike. Despite only being 30 years old at the time, Japan Open 2018 became his last tournament.